ensure that every child in the county can access the assets and resources that they need to become successful adults, from cradle to career. And we're excited to see how the U will impact future generations of Dutchess County children, and we continue to make progress toward our ultimate goal. These projects are crucial to our county, and their completion will continue to make us exceptional. Dutchess County, though, is an island in an unsettled sea. We are part of a state that's more concerned with ideology than public service. Although we can see a bright future for Dutchess County, we're impacted by ominous clouds that hang on New York's horizon. And while there are many issues, I will limit my comments this evening to just one, the CLCPA, the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, a so-called plan that neither leads nor protects. The CLCPA intends to eliminate the use of fossil fuels in New York State by 2040, electrifying how homes are heated, food is cooked, and vehicles are powered. This will be massive change. Currently, about 85% of households statewide heat with natural gas, propane, or fuel oil. And starting in 2025, per the CLCPA, new home construction will be required to use zero-emission heating systems. And as of 2030, homeowners will no longer be able to replace their propane, gas, or oil-fired furnaces. This electrification of New York will increase demand on the electric grid exponentially. It's important to note our current system provides availability, reliability, and affordability of energy to meet our needs. 50% of our current electricity is produced using fossil fuels, primarily natural gas, a clean-burning fuel with well-established benefits, plentiful supply, and a reliable delivery infrastructure. New York already has per capita CO2 emissions, the lowest per capita CO2 emissions of any state, decreasing approximately 20% from 2019 to 2020 and approximately 54% from 1970 through 2020. Only 6% of our current electric supply is powered by solar and wind. However, the CLCPA projects that miraculously 70% will come from wind and solar by 2040. And another 20% is projected to come from thermal. However, this assumes that hydrogen will be adapted as a fuel source. Now, this is currently a theory, and that still needs to be developed. And then we'll be required to figure out an infrastructure that can connect it to the grid. So at this point, this can best be described as wishful thinking. And that's the crux of the issue with CLCPA. The most aggressive targets in the nation have been set without clearly identifying how they can be realistically reached. Although the state is unclear on how this new renewable energy sources will be created, there are clear paths on how they will dismantle the current infrastructure that now works just fine. And what is the cost of this endeavor? The CLCPA projects cost of energy will go down, although how this will happen is really not explained. But any economics textbook teaches that when demand increases dramatically and supply decreases dramatically, costs will increase dramatically. And in the end, what is the net benefit if we could actually achieve zero fossil fuel use by 2040? Well, China and India are already producing 36% of the world's total CO2 emissions, and they continue to add to global emissions as they increase the use of coal and other fossil fuels. All of New York's efforts, if successful, will only decrease global CO2 by 0.5%. I repeat, 0.5%. What real difference will that make? New York's competitiveness in the global economy will be greatly diminished, while the countries actually causing the real pollution will benefit by selling New Yorkers the products that we need to complete the CLCPA energy transition. Doesn't sound right. Well, the bottom line is that the CLCPA will have caused our energy costs to skyrocket, our energy availability to be greatly reduced, and our way of life so totally disrupted that the mass exodus of businesses and individuals will devastate New York beyond repair. This is pure madness. And we are all familiar with the Central Hudson billing problems. Well, there was a moment about a year ago when Central Hudson, knowing that the conversion to the new system had a significant number of unresolved bugs in the software, they still made the decision to move forward and go live with a system that had not been fully tested nor demonstrated to be operational. And the results were disastrous. Now, New York State has reached a similar moment with the CLCPA, with the decision of whether or not to continue implementing it, even though it is quite clear that dismantling the current system before having replacement renewable energy systems in place will result in exorbitant cost and the non-availability of energy to meet critical human needs. There is, however, a big difference between these two situations. Central Hudson caused a lot of customer discontent, but they are working to correct those issues. And no one died, and no one had their electricity or their gas turned off. But if CLCPA continues, we know that costs are going to rise dramatically, both for the energy usage and for the infrastructure changes being forced upon us, and rolling brownouts will become a devastating and a deadly norm. These scenarios are much worse than the Central Hudson billing problems. We can prevent them, but we need to act now. Over this coming year, the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, the DEC, will be creating rules and regulations for compliance with the CLCPA, and they must go through public comment periods. So please, pay attention, ask questions, and demand answers. Call or write the governor and your state representatives and tell them to stop the madness. Now, I really don't want to end this on a down note, and so I won't. Because, you know, despite the tone deafness of Albany, I still have hope. And that's because I believe that God can and will continue to bless Dutchess County. You know, the good Lord works in mysterious ways, and so I do have hope. I begin each morning praying that God will give wisdom and clarity to our state legislators and our governor. And so, in addition to voicing your displeasure with the CLCPA and asking your state representatives and the governor to stop the madness, please pray for them and ask God to intervene, because I know that God does answer prayers. And so, may God bless you all, may God bless America, and may God continue to bless Dutchess County. Thank you all.